Just do it!
Welcome to The Know, I'm Ashley.
I'm Mica.
There's a potentially major disturbance possibly brewing in the movieverse, one that could really have some very, very big implications for not only superhero and comic book films, which are kind of dominating everything right now, but for the entire industry as a whole.
Also possibly Disneyland.
Man, when you mess with Disneyland, you're talking like big deals.
I'm just saying. According to a new CNBC report citing multiple sources, Disney has officially had talks about purchasing the majority of 21st Century Fox, including their movie studio and TV production businesses.
Really?
So, which, if you're up to date on your superhero rights shenanigans, that means that Disney could end up with the rights to both X-Men and Fantastic Four, thus going back to the Disneyland thing. What if we get X-Men World?
I mean, look, that's one way to get X-Men back in a Marvel Cinematic Universe. Just buy the whole studio. Sure, why not? I mean, it's Disney.
They
got Disney dollars.
Yeah. So that's definitely a big deal for folks with, kickier interests. But naturally, this purchase could cause quite a big shakeup in the industry as a whole should it go down. There are some conflicting reports going on about just how current these talks actually are, with CNBC saying they're simply on pause and Bloomberg saying they are straight up dead.
Right, but first let's talk about the report itself and get some of the more, businessy details that we know of about out of the way. The news comes from CNBC, who cites multiple sources familiar with the matter, and the word from those sources is that Disney and Fox have had several talks over the past few weeks about Disney gobbling up most of the company.
Most of the company, in this case, refers to Fox's movie studio and TV production arms, which would include the 21st Century Fox outfit, as well as FX and National Geographic.
But what about FXX? We need to know.
However, these reports also noted that these talks seem to be on hold for the time being.
Bloomberg added a report of their own, however, stating that their sources say the talks did happen, but that they're pretty dead, not just on pause. But they also noted that both Fox and Disney's stock prices soared after the news dropped this morning, with Fox's climbing almost 9%. So who knows, maybe those will be back on.
If your company's value starts skyrocketing when people think you're about to get bought, yeah, you might start to think more strongly about picking up those talks again.
Right. As for why Fox would consider this, I mean, look, we're talking about a storied studio with a very long history here. Well, it mostly has to do with the company wanting to scale up their broadcast efforts.
CNBC writes, for Fox, the willingness to engage in sale talks with Disney stems from a growing belief among its senior management that scale in media is of immediate importance, and there is not a path to gain that scale in entertainment through acquisition. The company is said to believe that a more tightly focused group of properties around news and sports could compete more effectively in the current marketplace.
Translation, they want to grow their broadcasting group ASAP because they can be more competitive there, but they can't just do that by taking a shortcut and buying someone themselves. So if they sell off the press and get this sudden influx of cash, maybe there's a name way there. Now, if you're wondering, Disney wouldn't be purchasing any of their news items because there'd probably be some antitrust allegations. If they own more than one network, that could possibly come up. And also, that's pretty far, like their new stuff is pretty far outside Disney's purview.
On Disney's side, the benefits should be pretty obvious. Acquiring the rights to Fox's movie and TV properties would give them a ton of new content, just as they're prepping their own streaming content service to rival Netflix. That'd give them content like the Aliens franchise, for instance, titles like Avatar, Titanic, Independence Day, most importantly, The Croods.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta have the Croods on there.
Duh.
Also, I never thought I would be like, yeah, Disney needs Alien. But, you know what? It could work.
Just imagine a facehugger in Mickey Mouse ears.
For comic book fans, the biggest benefit would definitely be the superhero movie rights, which includes X-Men and Fantastic Four. Now that could firmly plant the entire X-verse back into the Marvel Cinematic Universe, giving us all the amazing Avengers crossovers and Deadpool buddy-ups we've been desperately craving for years. And those potentially Fantastic Four guys, too.
What is this, third time's a charm? Fourth time's a charm?
Maybe, at this point, any time is a charm.
Weirdly enough, they still wouldn't have the full rights to Namor or Man-Thing.
That's because Namor is with Universal and Man-Thing is with Lionsgate.
Right, so guess you guys had better buy both of those next, and then you'll just own Hollywood in general. Could you imagine?
But not Venom.
Not Venom, because Venom is still part of Sony's separate Spideyverse.
Yeah, but you know what they do have now? 2 Quicksilvers.
See, now that's a buddy cop movie that I would pay to watch.
2 Quicksilvers. Back to Fox, though. About a year ago, there were some rumors swirling that Marvel and Fox had a couple of preliminary talks about potential crossovers. Those came amid some questions about how Fox is going to handle the X-Men going forward and whether or not they're going to reboot the X-Verse following the lackluster reception and opening of X-Men Apocalypse, what they're going to do with that whole thing.
However, those rumors were likely about the swap and trade that occurred between Marvel and Fox in order to get Ego the Living Planet into Guardians of the Galaxy 2, and in return, Fox got Negasonic Teenage Warhead.
But of course, seeing Sony and Marvel come to terms over Spider-Man, which landed Spidey in the MCU, has kept hopes alive that maybe one day Fox and Marvel could come to a similar agreement. And a few months back, the legendary Stan Lee did make some comments that kind of stoked the fires a bit.
Speaking at Wizard World Nashville, Stan Lee said, "Sooner or later, they're going to get the rights back to all our characters. They're working on it, and they're still making X-Men movies and stuff. Don't worry about it. You'll get more Marvel superheroes than you'll have time to look at in the next few years." And if he says it, it's gotta be true.
I mean, it kind of feels like a little bit of a teaser, like he was making some hints there about the talks that are going on right now, potentially. So it could have been an official prophecy of sorts. If it happens, yeah, that is not guaranteed. As we mentioned earlier, there are some conflicting reports about whether these acquisition talks are dead or just on pause, but no matter the case, both of these indicate that they're not happening right now, but that they could.
Fear not, though, comic book fans. This was similarly the case with Spider-Man 2. For a long time, the answer on that front was also a big fat no until, it's not now anymore. And we all know how that turned out, so.
I really like Spider-Man Homecoming.
Yeah.
Now, what do you guys think of the reports that Disney is talking to Fox about a purchase? How excited would you be for Marvel to get its X-Men back if that happened? Let us know in the comments.
For future updates on all your favorite book, comic, movie news, and possibly Mickey Mouse ears on a face hugger.
No.
Yes!
No.
Yes!
No.
Remember to like this video, and if you're new around here, subscribe to the know.
Not my best sync. Kind of ashamed of that, but I'm gonna let it stand because that's the truth.
No one will see it.
Unless we put it in the end card.
How often do syncs make it?
Never.
Not often.
Never.
Until now.
Except the time I sang Under the Sea.